flash in his brain. My mind is insane. A memory card is locked in the game. These optical frames spot ops and leave a block full of pain. Did the impossible, cross the tightrope while dodging the rain. I put these stitches in my Glock, no I am not finna aim. Swear I got robbed and joined the army so my spot could remain. One lost his life in North Carolina, hope he not as I sang. Drinking sorrow away on my alky still. For the soldiers we lost on the battlefield. Why am I hurting myself as I bury I'm belching out death when I'd rather heal? And most of these rappers ain't that for real. They Michelin that shit, they cat for me. Talking fly when we push that in vacuum seal. Some of my homies not pushing on that deal. Now Ninja put music to dream hours. We been up grinding up teen hours. They ain't believing that team power, then we had to run up 14,000. I thank you all for supporting us. This right here for the voice of the warrior. Victory is a beautiful woman. We went through the rain while in love with Victoria.
Whether thing or the finer thing, whether wood and a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain. Whether thing or the finer thing, whether wood and a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain.
Hard to hop off of the plane, just to get back in the trenches. My sister, my brother was slain, and I haven't seen any mentions from social media and networks. So irritated that my head hurts, and when I do, it's only excerpts. Small commentary from the experts. No appreciation for the lives lost. I posted up with the iron cross when the smoke clears from fine off. All I think about is my fault, man. Should've been there to protect you. The bullets that came and they wrecked you. Now it's my duty to go and collect you. Wrapping the casket, sending you home. Not full of madness, knowing you gone. How could this happen? Tell me I'm wrong. Dip in the sadness, leave me alone. Doctor got me medicated, wanna get me regulated. Helping me recover with the pain. Even though we celebrated everything you dedicated, now I gotta make it through the rain.
Whether thing or the finer thing, whether wood and a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain. Whether thing or the finer thing, whether wood and a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain.
Army Specialist Aaron David Robinson is accused of killing Guillen, and his girlfriend Cicely Aguilar is accused of helping him get rid of the body. And tonight we have Aguilar's confession about exactly what happened the night Guillen disappeared.
Well, today marks 2 years since an Air Force veteran was shot and killed by a DeKalb County police officer. 27-year-old Anthony Hill, whose family says he suffered from PTSD, was naked and unarmed when he was shot by Officer Robert Olson during an encounter.
Olson was indicted by a grand jury and faces felony murder along with other charges. And now we've learned the DA has appointed a new prosecution team in that case.
Space force through your tape. We fast forward, we came through that time warp. Your foreheads look like warp. Everybody look confused, huh? How do we make these moves, huh? How do we always improve, huh? No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team. Holy mackerel. Know us, and we reign and better grab a boat.
We a different breed, talking alien. Survivor of the fittest and we play to win. Grab another bounty and get paid again. Then we fade into the dark like a gradient. Dark like a gradient. Dark like a gradient.
Space force through your tape. We fast forward, we came through that time warp. Your foreheads look like warp. Everybody look confused, huh? How do we make these moves, huh? How do we always improve, huh? No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team. Holy mackerel. Know us, and we reign and better grab a boat.
Smoke the bear, you better go in there. My fireworks in the sky like a
Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. We are the two kings of the Rube Empire. I am the Philosopher King, the Ivory Tower, the Mad Scientist Matt, and I've got a perspective on things. And with me,
ladies and gentlemen, this is the greatest moment of your life. Buckle in, get excited, because it's going to be a bumpy, joyous ride, man. Once again, the strong one is in the house. Always ready, strong one. Ready to rock and roll, ready to dominate, ready to castigate all doubt that greatness is upon you. And I am excited to rock and roll with the Ivory Tower, with the Ebony Rampart. Let's rock and roll. Let's get going today, baby, man. Make sure you check us out at Plausible Foolishness at twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness. Everywhere we're on Facebook Live, YouTube, and twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness. My goodness, I'm excited. You know why I'm really excited right now, Matt? You know why I'm really jacked up?
there's
You know what fires me up? Besides,
lifting weights.
Go ahead.
There's
Okay.
The Matrix.
That's a formula as well.
Your
Matrix,
hot wife.
The Matrix. Yes.
And
in this moment right now, in the field right now,
conservative, conservative, right-leaning, freedom, loving politics.
That's all good too. Listen. That
Yep.
Jesus, all of that's good. But you know what really excites
I have no
me
idea
right now, this moment? I don't have to intro that dastardly Dusty. I don't have to talk about that Jamoke at all right now, okay? I don't have to deal with his dirty, dusty.
He's got a head cold.
Okay? Now listen,
not feeling well.
Listen, he may be the most kick-ass Duke of all time, okay? He may be the producer extraordinaire that took this show to the freaking stratosphere, okay? He may be the one that took us to that next level, okay? That tickled the, how do I say it nicely, the energy back into the show, okay? He may be that guy. He may be that great. But gosh darn it, I just love having to introduce him every single week, okay? It just bothers me, okay? It is what it is. No, I'm just kidding, Dusty. I love you. I'm excited. Hopefully you get better, man. I had to trash talk you because that is what the strong one is, okay? That's what I do. And that's how I roll, baby. Bro,
of course.
Are you ready to go today, man? Man, I can tell you what, man. There's so much going on in the world. There's so many stories that never end, and I'm very excited about talking about today. And, it is what it is, man. If you're following me on Clapper right now, head over to twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness. That's twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness for the entire show. You'll see me and the sexiest man I have ever laid eyes on. The Mad Scientist, Mad Matt. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you check it out, man. Very excited today.
You.
So we're in 2022, and I just thought we learned, man. You know what I mean? I just thought that we learned. You think. I mean, call me crazy, but if someone sold me, I don't know, man, 15 days to get a date. Okay, if someone sold me 15 days to slow the single curve, okay, you know what I mean? And 2 years later, nothing's changing. I mean, I might doubt the original plan. Does that make sense? And let's just say for some crazy reason they told you, listen, to get the best dates, all you got to do is put a piece of paper around your head, because that will draw in. That'll repel the how did Rick Rude back in the day call them the West Virginia sweat hogs. That'll keep them away. You know what I mean? If they told you all you got to do is get this injection of genetic perfection, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and you're gonna hit your goal, right? You're gonna get that date. You're gonna get whatever, and it's still not happening. At some point, man, you got to wake up. You know what I'm saying? You just might not be that attractive at that point. Now I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm an analogy, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But the story never ends. You know what I mean? It's kind of comical. It's kind of funny, but depressing at the same time. But there's just stories that we have to talk about. We have to bring
No,
them
I
up.
was just gonna
Go
say
ahead.
you're absolutely right. It is depressing at the same time. It's
I,
hilarious,
but here's
maddening.
but what's funny to
No,
me.
no, no.
Go ahead.
I was just laying out some adjectives.
Hey, throw those adjectives, man.
It's
Just slang
infuriating.
them around.
It's
You know what I mean?
hilarious. It's
Yeah,
maddening. It makes you feel like you're taking crazy pills.
all the time,
it yeah.
all the
It's
time.
you you have to.
Coco Rico. Hey,
No, no.
we're
Go ahead,
go
bro.
ahead. We're international right now. We got Coco Rico from Belgium, man. We got
Sweet.
Belgium. So bonjour, bonjour. They speak French in Belgium, right? French. Parlez-vous français?
They speak
Is that what they
actually
do?
several different languages. Flemish. There's French.
Merci.
And I think there's a little bit of German too.
Flemish. He's got Flemish. I have no clue how to speak Flemish, so I will just say in English, welcome to Plausible Foolishness. If you want to check out the full show, head over to twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness. We're trying to bring him in today, man. We're trying to Pied Piper him over to the show
Yeah,
right now.
that's the
You feel
way.
me, Matt?
This is the
That's
way.
what we're trying to do, man. So he says, Hogat het met you. I don't know if I said that in Flemish correctly, but I'm just rolling with it. You feel me? I probably just cussed in Flemish, so it is what it is. But I was talking to this lady from Ukraine, and I was like dropping my. He said that's good. I was dropping my limited Russian, and she was just looking at me like stunned because of course, I'm of the chocolate persuasion, and I always get that funny look from the Ruskies. You know what I mean? When I start dropping some Russian on them, so it's always fun. But anyways, back to what you're saying. The story that never ends. The show that we got to talk about a few things here, man. So it never. Okay, so let's go back in time on
Hmm.
Plausible Foolishness. Okay, I'm gonna talk some smack to you, and you're gonna just tell me, yeah, Ray, you're right again, and we're gonna have at it. Okay, so so I have never been a big Ted Cruz fan. Okay, I haven't. Just straight up between you and I,
Yeah, I know.
you know this.
Yeah,
You can
definitely.
confirm this, correct? Okay, you can correct me. Okay. Okay. I struggle with Team Ted Cruz, Team Beck, Blaze TV. I struggle with those guys because here's it. I love and hate. I love and hate the Blaze TV. Can I tell you that? Does that make sense? Does that statement make sense or not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why exactly, but yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the reason why I love it. Okay, I love Blaze because there's a lot of people over there that I really enjoy. Primarily right now, what's keeping me locked and loaded is Jason Whitlock. I love Jason Whitlock. He is
Mm.
hilarious. His show's hilarious, and if you have not seen it, make sure you get your prying eyes and ears over there and listen to this guy because he's got a very interesting insight. Now, I used to rip him for years because he literally proclaims that he never votes. That always bothers me as an American citizen. I'm like, what the heck? Why don't you vote? But then 2020 happened, and we just saw the biggest rig job of all time. So I had existential crisis and funks myself for about 3 months after the fact when I clearly saw an election get stolen. Now, the beautiful thing is that it caused me to rely on Christ and realize that this isn't new. This stuff's been happening for years in different countries all over the world, and God's in control. He knows what's happening. So I repented and said, you know what, Jason Whitlock might have something to do this since sometimes your vote doesn't really matter now, especially in federal elections. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. It is what it is. But Jason Whitlock's over there. I can stomach Steven Crowder every once in a while. I'm glad he has a child now. He's more palatable, to be honest with you. Just straight up. I mean, honest to God, his takes are more mature and well formed, in my opinion. You can always tell when people talk massively and boldly about life and they've never had a child. No offense, I'm not trying to discriminate against you, but I'm discriminating against you. But it's just very interesting when you're doling out life advice when you don't have a child. Now that would exclude people like Paul, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm just going to be real. I had something I have to work on personally. So, Glenn Beck himself, you know what I mean? He's a Mormon. I struggle. I struggle to see wisdom from people that can fall for something like that. Does that make sense? I struggle. I have a hard time. I'm like, you fell for that, and you're doling out wisdom. So that's where my love and hate come from, because there's some very principled things that come out of that guy's mouth. I said it multiple times on the show. I hate to admit that Glenn Beck was right on something. Now he's been wrong on a lot of things, right? He was super wrong on Trump early on. He repented of his sins, and he came back on the other side, right? Now, here's my thing. Ted Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the point of hand. Let's get to the man. Um, Here's where I always throw up a red flag. Okay, when you talk a really, 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 really good game and you don't accomplish anything. Now, I'm not saying that Ted Cruz has never accomplished anything. Let me preface this. Okay, I'm not speaking in absolutes. But I always ask people that love Ted Cruz, can you please explain to me what he's actually accomplished? Now, I see him in all these congressional hearings. I see him roasting liberals like nobody's business all day long. But when I don't see results, if I see how do I say this? I see all smoke and no flame, I start to question you. And I've questioned him for a long time. You and I have gotten into it on the
Mm-hmm.
show about it. You know what I mean? So I bring up Ted Cruz because everybody witnessed, because the most crazy thing that happened to me about January 6th wasn't the fact that they're really trying to prop this up as some kind of national tragedy, which
Yeah.
it wasn't. Um, Comparing it to 9/11 and Pearl Harbor from our vice president, the second most powerful
So
person in the
disgusting.
world, trying to do that, trying to sell that
It's,
to the
that's
point where you
it's
got kids. Go
disgusting.
ahead. 100%. It's completely disgusting to literally equate Pearl Harbor, which hundreds of people died from that incident, and thousands of people died from 9/11, to literally people, primarily a guy in a buffalo hat with a Speedo, getting ushered into the Capitol building by police,
Mm-hmm.
literally ushered in, gates being released, come walk into the Capitol building. And the only death was at the hands of a trigger happy Capitol policeman. Uh, is the same thing, is equivalent, is massively laughable. Period. It's like when those nominal, and I say this term loosely, Christians try to back out of abortion and say, well, everything's a life issue. You can't vote just on abortion because there's other life issues like immigration. I'm like, it's funny because we have ways of immigrating to the country legally without killing people, and you're still defending murdering babies. So there's no equivalency here.
Yeah.
There's none. There's no
There's
equivalency
other
between
life
January
issues.
6th.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's other life issues. And I'm like, you're literally copping out. You're copping out because you're afraid to tell your liberal friend, hey, Susie Ho, it's not okay to kill your baby.
Or they
It's not
they
okay.
they want abortion and they're trying to pretend like they don't, or like they're trying to find they're
Oh, yeah,
afraid to tell
100%.
you that they're totally fine with abortion.
I'm totally cool with it. You know what I mean? And I love it when, the godless pagans try their best to make the Bible defend it. And I love giving them a Bible study on it, which is great. I enjoy that conversation, especially me, because we've been over this before on the show, and people are always like, "You're a guy, you can't talk about abortion," and I'm like, "That's so funny because I'm the reason that you keep legislating abortion," and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the product of a rape. I have more reason to talk about abortion than most of you do. So please at me.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Please at me." Um, Now, to the equivalency at hand, it's not equivalent to a protest that got a little rambunctious to 9/11. It would be more accurate to say, hey, the summer of hell that happened in the name of St. George Floyd, fentanyl Floyd.
They do
that
have
could be
they do
comparable.
have one
Maybe.
thing in common though.
Go ahead. What's that?
They're both possibly an inside job.
Possibly. What, 9/11 and Pearl Harbor?
No,
were inside
9/11
job?
and January 6th.
Well, here's the bombshell. I won't go deep into this, but I saw a few videos about how Pearl Harbor possibly wasn't an inside job, but it was similar to 9/11. They knew it was coming and let it happen. But I won't talk about that on this podcast because that might get too conspiratorial. And you know what they say about a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You know, give them 6 months on the right. But anyways, so back to what we were talking about. So obviously January 6th, we let people in to the Capitol building. Then we're prosecuting those same people that we let into the Capitol building, but that's another story for another time. Buffalo Jack got what, 3 years? He's in prison for 3 years for walking into the Capitol building or something like that, which is hilarious. But what's funny is this: the Democrats had a vigil for January 6th.
They're so pathetic.
Really pushing hard to make this a thing, a visual. Usually you have visuals for people that died, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. To this day, there's only one person that actually died from this.
Something did die.
And she was
Something
a Trump supporter.
did die on January 6th.
Democracy?
No.
Republic?
The last shred of Democrat credibility.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. Agreed. Remember when AOC was, surrounded and thought she was going to die, even though she was in a completely different
blocks
building?
away. No
digress. I digress. Enjoy your COVID, and thanks for coming to Florida and giving us your money. But now, here's the thing. I find it funny that they had a visual for only one death that was at their hands, because it's their police, killing a Trump supporter, as if they actually cared about a Trump supporter. Let's get real.
That's not what they were visualizing or whatever, memorializing.
Yeah, I mean, they were just trying their best to make it a thing and try to reverse the narrative that everybody knows the election was rigged. But that's another story for another time. But here's what's funny to me in that scenario. Did they have a visual for the 13 Afghanistan or the soldiers that died in Afghanistan under Biden's watch? They
don't want to remind you about it.
How about the 600,000 babies that got aborted last year under the watch of Biden? Were they going to visualize that?
Well, they're going to shout their abortions. So they might put some kind of, video package for that, but
yeah. But what's funny is this: they try the visual, they try the really horrible speech coming from the VP, and we're not hearing from the president that day because the president is slipping up in speeches and calling Kamala Harris President Harris. I don't know if you caught that one. Again.
It's like the fourth time. No biggie.
So strange. When you're old, you don't really have. There's not really Freudian slips. You just kind of tell what's true. So it is what it is. So they tried this so hard. They pushed it really hard, and nobody bought it. Like nobody bought it. Like to the point where CNN on their Sunday show literally said they had a commentator on there like, the rest of America doesn't live in our media bubble, and they don't care what we're saying anymore. I'm like, gee golly, he gets it, Jimmy.
Mikey, he likes it.
He gets it. Mikey likes it, Nobody in real America cares about January 6th because everybody in real America went through the summer of hell with fentanyl Floyd.
Everybody in America was there in the Capitol on January 6th in spirit.
Yeah, dude, any hope of making January 6th a thing went away when, Afghanistan bodies were falling from planes. So an actual insurrection versus a fake insurrection. And it wasn't. And what's funny is Democrats can't call it an insurrection. They always call it an erection, but I digress. It is what it is. Have you seen clips of them
Yes,
doing that
over
over
and
and
over
over
again.
again? The erection. They just love
Yep, they sure
erections,
do.
especially from little kids. But anyways, my thing is this. Sorry, I'm slipping.
Don't
I'm
worry,
up to
USA
too many.
just
I'm doing a little
USA
too
Today
crazy.
is with you, so they're good.
Yeah, USA is with you because they're promoting pedophilia. We told you that was coming too. 6 months. Anyways, just give it 6 months. But here's the thing: I expect that from the godless. I expect that from the soulless. I expect that from the pagan. What I don't expect is our leaders that are supposed to be quote unquote conservative leaders, wink, wink, placating to that. I would hope that our leaders that are so conservative and we're really close to being the Republican nominee would be able to call a spade, call balls and strikes, and not placate to their stupidity.
Yep.
Not call a trainee a girl when it's not a girl. Okay, not tell Tommy that he's going to be an NBA player when Tommy's dad is 5'3". Okay, like you got to be real with people. Okay. And he goes on national television and calls it a terrorist attack.
Yeah, I was very
Ted Cruz
upset about
called
that.
January 6th. Yeah. Your boy called January 6th a terrorist attack.
When it so clearly was not. It just wasn't.
I mean, that's literally like telling a trainee they're a girl. They're not. You don't have the same plumbing. Sorry, watch the Chappelle special. I watched it myself. Okay? You're not. That wasn't a terrorist attack. An insurrection, by definition, is people trying to usurp power. How do you do an insurrection without guns?
Yeah.
There were none. How is it a terrorist attack when it was a Trump supporting chick that got killed by a police officer? She had no arm. She was armed. She didn't have any guns.
Nope.
She was a rando Karen that just showed up to expose the truth that we all knew. This thing was rigged.
Yeah.
It's amazing that your boy bent down the knee to bail and said, hey, it was a terrorist attack. Can I still be in the cool kids club? And that's what's disturbing to me, because I've been saying this for a minute. When there's tons of smoke and no fire, are you really is there really a fire going on, man? Like that's the problem with our conservative quote unquote leadership, is I keep seeing all these guys talking a huge game about how they're doing all this stuff and they're roasting libs out there in the congressional hearings, which they do, but guess what? Congressional hearings mean nothing.
And nothing ever seems to come from them.
No one ever goes to jail. Nothing happens from congressional hearings. It's just you on a podium showing how witty and smart you are. But then when push comes to shove, you bend over and take it. When the literal environment of America right now is shifting right, you placated to the people who don't have power. They don't have power. They don't have power, which is hilarious. They've got the House, the Senate, and the president, and they got no power.
Mm-hmm.
None. What has Biden accomplished?
Nothing.
He's accomplished nothing. And the only thing that they possibly could run on is falling flat on their face, because they propped up this flu, and tried to make it something else it wasn't. And guess what? You cannot beat the flu. The flu's undefeated. Sorry. Pneumonia, influenza is never going to be defeated. You can rename it something else and make it scary, which you did for 2 years. And that's how you kind of worked your way to break laws so that people could vote, so people could vote. Dead people can vote from ballots, from mail-in ballots. I mean, that's cool. You did what you got. Listen, that was a smart play. But guess what? At some point, The Walking Dead isn't cool anymore. Okay? You remember The Walking Dead was the coolest show ever? You remember that? Carl, like that was the coolest show. I had to watch it every Sunday, right? I had to watch The Walking Dead every single Sunday. It's still on. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Have you watched it in like 6 years?
Yeah. I stopped watching after The Governor.
Dude. Yeah. Like I hung until Negan, you know? But there's been like 7 seasons after Negan in spin-off shows. Like you can only do The Walking Dead for so long and it gets played. Yep. And guess what? The Walking Dead is COVID-19. Nobody cares. They don't
Rick,
care.
I didn't even...
And that's why the Democrats...
Roman Knightley said once Rick died, it was really over. I didn't even know that he died.
Yeah.
Why would you kill... He was the main character. Why would you kill him?
Dude, listen. Bro, they killed Han Solo. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
But that's like killing. Stupid. That's like killing stupid. Luke Skywalker, which they also did.
Yeah, I know, 100%. Right, but okay, let's think this through. At some point, COVID's not that cool anymore. Nobody cares. The people that really care about COVID, yes, they're going to be the typical soft beta cuck liberals in New York and California that are still living there for some crazy reason. Okay, they care about this. Mm-hmm. They care. But guess what? All of your glorious leaders keep coming down to our state for some reason to suck up some of that freedom. You know? You got Bangs of Spy Swalwell, Fart Swalwell. He was down here. AOC was down here. Like it's magical. All your leaders are here. And guess what? People in Florida don't care about COVID.
For the most part, yeah.
They don't care.
For the most part.
You know? But I mean, the thing is this, anything that's coming from the outside is coming from people that don't even live here. They're not even from here. It's crazy. Because let's think about it. Even in Florida, the people, the companies that are still masked up, their corporations are not here in Florida. They're from like California or some whatever. They're throwing their edicts at Florida, and guess what? Nobody cares. No one cares.
So that's where I work.
Now, go ahead. No. Yeah.
For now.
I mean, well, there's a lot.
For now.
There's a lot of California influence in Big Eva.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying? You feel me?
Well,
you feel me?
That's where they came from. So.
California. But anyways, that's my point. Is like nobody cares here, man. We don't.
I don't.
And the people that do, listen. The people that do, the people that are throwing the mask on for Omicron, aka.
I had a coworker today tell me that she was coughing, and she's pregnant, and she said, you know, I'm not coughing because I'm sick. I'm coughing because I have acid reflux because I'm pregnant, which I understand because I also have acid reflux, and it for some reason it makes your lungs all feel all kinds of you know, like you need to cough like you're sick, but it's really just, you know, it's just the reflux anyway. But I told her, I was like, oh, I understand that, and you know, even if you were sick, I wouldn't care. I don't care. I mean, I want you to be well. I care in that respect, but I'm not scared of getting sick. I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
There's no fear here.
Listen, the last time I checked, we still have an immune system, correct? That still exists.
Yes. And if you watch, if you've watched any of those Joe Rogan episodes with the 3 doctors that I mentioned, you'll know that there are over 140 studies showing that natural immunity is the superior way to be in regards to just about any sickness.
Haven't we said that on the
We
show
have.
before? Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry. We just crazy. I'm so tired of being right all the time. But here's what's crazy. It's over. It's played. Okay. So the Democrats have no power. So why is your boy Ted Cruz placating to these guys?
I don't know. It was kind of confounding because usually he doesn't. Usually, at least in the way he talks, It seems uncharacteristic to me, unless there's things that I've just missed, which is possible. At least in the way that he talks.
Now, your boy Tuck, had him on and roasted him. I mean, he big roasted him. It was kind of funny to watch. I haven't seen your boy Cruz fumble over his words so bad until he was in front of Trump. So I mean, I get it. Like, you know, when you have a superior combatant when it comes to debating, it's hard to, and especially when you F up and you know you effed up, it's really hard to say.
That's the real deal. Is he
it's
effed
hard.
up and
it's tough.
He tried to make a strategic decision instead of a principled decision. And that was a mistake because he picked the wrong strategy. Turns out,
because
principles is the way to go.
Yeah. Turns out that your voter base wants principles. Conservatives,
they should principles. At least. There's some people that just want R's. There's some people that just want R's, and that's all that they care about.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know,
100%.
And like,
just like there's people that
I don't know what this guy's saying. I don't know what that guy's saying, but I know another R that I know is an R and is in office told me that he likes this one guy, so I'm gonna vote for that guy because the guy with an R next to his name wants this guy to have an R next to his name, and I want R's.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I am in complete agreement with you, right? So I've been saying this for a minute. Like, there's a reason why Ted Cruz didn't beat Donald Trump. You can smell people that aren't principled. Call what you want about Donald Trump. He is principled. He sticks to his guns for good or bad. And there was a lot of bad. Don't get me wrong. Especially on this vaccine thing, man. He is pushing it hard right now. And it's not doing him any favors. And I'm actually glad, to me personally, I'm glad he's pushing this. You know why I'm glad he's pushing it? Because it's going to make him very unpopular when it comes to the actual, voting for kids. Like every time he pushes the vaccine, Marco Rubio's sitting there like, this is my own. Like, please keep doing this, old man. Keep making, because that's the thing. Listen, Trump does 80% really, really good. But there's a 20% of him that just fumbles over himself. He does.
Chat said, pirates like ours. Yeah.
Pirates.
Yeah, and what are politicians if they aren't pirates? Plundering America for their own wealth.
Hey, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me, right? But yeah, how do I say this nicely? Trump is not immune to stupidity.
No.
Okay, he fell for the bump stock thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He did, for sure. He totally did. He fell for it, and that's how it goes, man. That's just that's the situation that we find ourselves in. But here's what I would say at the end of the day with this whole. Whoa! Am I really?
Yeah, you are. Of course you are. Thank you for paying for volunteer. Even the kings voluntarily pay their taxes. And if you want to support, what we're doing, you can voluntarily pay your taxes too. At the link down below, in the About section on Twitch, or in the liner notes of YouTube and Facebook.
Yep. Now, listen, there is a crap ton of you on Clapper right now, and I love you guys. I appreciate you for watching. I really do. But head over to twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. Go to twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness. Come hang out with the party. It's way more fun over here. You get to see me and the sexy man. Because right now, all you do is see me. You only see me, and you hear another voice. And it is a melodious voice. It is a sexy voice because it comes from the ivory tower itself. But you want to see his face too, man. see both kings. But anyways, back to what we're saying. Your boy Ted Cruz. Okay, so this is why I don't trust the Ted Cruzes and the Glenn Becks of the world, because it's like, okay, the problem with me is this. Like, I feel like Beck is a guy who would talk a big game about abortion and do nothing about it. Does that make sense? He'll talk a huge game, won't pull the trigger. Ted Cruz will talk a huge game, but he doesn't pull the trigger because he's a senator. Senators don't do anything. No offense. Senators have not been doing anything for a long time. Now, the beautiful thing is they do stop the madness that happens in the House. They're the safeguard, right? Every time the House tries to impeach Donald Trump, they at least have the principles to stop that from happening. And maybe that's their gig. Sweet. Maybe their gig is just is stopping stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Just stopping it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Anyways.
Well, okay, but
you
my question is,
I just got to ask the question.
Who's the senator? Who's the politician that is doing something?
There's none.
But the question then is why?
Point, because it's a big, bloated party, and it's a really sweet,
so there's nobody there who has principles.
Where are they at?
I mean, I think they're out there talking, at least.
Talk's great.
Yeah, but okay,
here's the
but
thing.
I understand that you're saying that talk is great, but no. But wait a second. One person in a Congress can't do much if they don't have many allies. Like the whole.
Oh, I totally agree.
So we're looking at congressmen.
Trump, duh.
Well, yeah, but Trump isn't a congressman.
No. I'm talking. Sorry. The Clapper. They're like, "Are you a Trump supporter, a Biden supporter?" I'm like,
"Oh,
Trump,
okay."
Duh. Sorry. Duh. I was gonna say. No, but here's what I'm getting at is this. The thing is this: if you're not really going to accomplish anything, but the only thing you're going to do is talk and have principles. Have principles. Okay? If your job is solely to sit there and be a figurehead for the state of Texas, represent conservatives, own it. Like own your policy. But here's the problem. When you start saying stuff like that, then I kind of know where you are.
Well, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, like, there's not nobody, but those one or two islands of principled, conservatism or libertarianism or whatever, those islands of principled people aren't going to accomplish much because they can't build they either can't build a consensus amongst their fellow congressmen, or party leadership squashes whatever they put forth. It's just like Sabatini in the Florida legislature.
Sure.
Every chance that he was able to do it, constitutional carry bill, and then it would go to the committee, and the douchebag who was running the committee at the time would squash it. Yeah. And that guy had an 100%. R next to his name.
100%. Now, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Here's the issue, though. Okay? If we know that your job is worthless, can we agree with it? I mean, it is. Like, Congress is the lowest approved body out there, right? House, Republic, it doesn't matter. They're lowest approved, okay? The issue becomes this. If you are going to tote and you're going to hop on Fox and you're going to hop on The Blaze, you're going to hop on freaking Louder the Crowder and Tucker and say, "Oh, we're fighting hard for you. We're fighting hard for you. We're fighting hard for you." And in the moment, so first of all, you're showing up to some stupid remembrance of nothing and you placate to them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm not defending
believe
Ted
you.
Cruz
It's the same old.
for his statements
But it's
or
like
anything like that.
It's like the name of the show. The story never ends. It's the same politicians
Yeah.
do the same thing. Now, here's the thing. Here's
I'm
the
just saying that
positive
there's
thing
not
about
nobody
Trump.
doing nothing.
No. I get it.
Like I would say, like a Marjorie
But
Taylor
here's the thing.
Greene is somebody that we can look to who is
She's a force to be
principled.
reckoned with, man.
But she hasn't. What has she accomplished? Besides being a principled island.
Yeah. I mean, but I think the difference is I think she's ruffling enough feathers that
Sure.
Real quick. She's ruffling enough.
Sure,
feathers,
she's out there ruffling feathers for sure.
Right, and that's where it starts. At least her and like Gates are ruffling feathers.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
you
thing.
can
Like,
know
guys like
you
that,
know
I'm
that
not a big Gates
they're
fan.
getting somewhere because she gets called crazy. And he gets called and he gets like false charges put up against him,
Yeah, 100%. But exactly. That's the thing is like this. Any time that somebody's actually going to be principled and get accomplished things, you know who the true people are is when they start getting shot down by like stupid scandals like that. Like Gates gets attacked for nothing, literally nothing, and he gets pretty much muzzled for nothing. And that's the issue. Is like, where is that controversy happening for Ted Cruz? It's not happening. They're not really attacking Ted Cruz because he's in tight with those guys. You know what I mean? Like who's actually making waves by the people they attack, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene is a perfect example. She's not on Twitter anymore. She's banned permanently from Twitter, right? Or apparently her mouthpiece is so effective that she's has to get attacked. Trump was so effective that they had to get him off of social media. Does that make sense? So like, I don't buy the idea that you need this whole coalition to get things done because it eventually, like for example, on the left is always unified on everything, correct? Until now that they have power, because this is what happens when they all finally get power. They can't agree because how minimalized has Nancy Pelosi become because of the AOC crew, because of the squad? She's relevant now. You know what I mean? Like, eventually you have to get louder and you have to be aggressive and you have to do what you've got to do to really push the narrative and push back. But here's the deal. What Republicans pushing against Chuck Schumer? For real? Who's pushing against good old Chuck? Anybody on the Republican side?
No idea. No idea.
Ted Cruz isn't. Cruz's not. He'll disagree with him. Hey, listen, Tucker, I'll disagree with him wholeheartedly. But he's not pushing back on the guy because he's part of the system too. You know what I mean? This is part of your anarchy that you love spouting out here, man. Like I get it. I'm with you on this. So that's what drives me insane about that situation. But that's the story that never ends. Politicians are that way. That is literally how it goes. You know what I mean? So that's what we have to look forward to. But I think long enough people will expose themselves, right? They will. You give people long enough, they're going to expose themselves.
Definitely.
Ted Cruz has been there for a while. He's finally exposing himself. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with Trump on probably 80% of the things that he's done, right? But, he's pushing this vaccine hardcore. That is not going to do well for his reelection bid. I'll tell you that straight up. If he's smart, at this point, he should be a kingmaker because he's not going to have an overwhelming support, especially if he's pushing the vax. Does that make sense? Now, he'll pivot when it comes to that season and he announces, watch. He'll magically stop saying that, just like the Democrats are
maybe
right
though
now on COVID-19.
He does what he does, man. If he believes it, I honestly believe if he believes it, he says it,
And he believes what he says and he does what he says.
And so he believes
in
in the vaccine because he helped make the vaccine.
He made it.
And
he can't back out of it.
I don't think he would.
Out of it. You know what I mean?
I don't think he wants to. I think
here's
he's
the
proud
vaccine.
of them.
He is.
But like,
here's what I would say.
I think if real information were presented to him, he would, I I think he could be made to turn around.
Well, here's the thing. He can't pivot from that because that's one of his signature wins. Operation Warp Speed is one of his signature wins. You know what I mean? Wall building is one of his signature wins. His economy is one of his signature wins. He's not going to back off of a signature win, even because that's Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not going to do that. And from a political standpoint, you really can't back off of it because that would be like saying, hey, listen, I stopped the Nazis in World War II, but I really, really like that. Hitler's underlings. I'm going to put them in charge of NASA. You know what I mean? Oh, wait. Did that hit too close to home? Did I say that out loud? Sorry. But no, I mean, like, but it doesn't make sense principally, right? To me. But yeah, but what's interesting to me in the world of the story that never ends, right? Politics, what's the phrase? The politics are downstream of they're downstream of the mainstream. Is that
Politics is downstream
politics
of
are
culture.
Downstream of the main. The downstream of culture. Okay, the culture's clearly shifting. I don't know if you've noticed the Democrat backpedaling that's been happening as of late when it comes to Rome.
Oh yeah.
So one might say there's some chinks in the armor, and I am not afraid to say chink in the armor because people have said that for eons, but I wouldn't say eons, but a long time. Yeah. there's chinks in the COVID narrative story. You know what I mean? Because like we were talking about before, The Walking Dead's old. Nobody cares about it anymore. Doesn't have that panache anymore. You know, Democrats used to say COVID-19 and, everybody's fear boners would just magically pop up all over. And it's just not getting it there anymore, right? The blue pill's just not working for them anymore.
It sure isn't.
I mean? To the point
well,
where
we got the Omicron variant, and it's blue pill resistant. So, I mean,
it's magically blue pill resistant. But no, I mean, what's funny is this: you can tell the narrative shifted, especially this week, because they're actually paying attention to polling. And you got the CDC director.
No, you said because they're actually listening to polling, and that made me chuckle.
Yeah, they're actually listening to the polling. It's like, oh, yeah, man, this Biden guy's not popular. Oh, neither is Kamala. Maybe we should say COVID. Oh, wait, that's not popular either because people are over it, just like they were The Walking Dead. Now, here's the thing. When you get the director of the CDC backpedaling and finally admitting what's on their website, which is funny because they never did, because that information's been on the website for a long time. We've talked about, how long have we talked about that 90% of COVID deaths aren't from COVID, but with
four
COVID.
plus comorbidities. And they're talking about that now. But that's been on the site for over a year. We talked about that a hella long time ago.
Long time ago we talked about that. Okay.
We talked about it because we talked about it so much, or so long ago, that when I mentioned it now, like a month ago, I would sometimes feel like, I wonder if this information has changed and I sound like a fool. Nope, it hasn't changed at all. 100% accurate.
Because listen, we said it before in the show. I've said it before. The CDC will always post what the actual information is on their website. Because guess what? In hindsight, when we come and call shenanigans on all of this, they can automatically say, hey, listen, we had it posted from the very beginning. But their mouthpieces won't admit that stuff. Until when, don't you know, it's 2022, year of our Lord, and it's an election year. And they have to pivot away from the thing that's very unpopular, which is keeping mandates going, keeping COVID lockdowns going, and keeping all this stuff down. Because guess what? Everyone's looking around and realizing the only problems we're actually having with people getting sick and dying is from the stupid vaccine. It never was from the actual Rona when I actually got it. Weird. So we got to pivot as fast as possible away from the vaccine narrative and the narrative that COVID's killing everybody, because if we keep fear porning this, people will be like, wait a minute, you're the ones that fear porn forever. You're the one that
there's a deeper evil to this whole thing, in that you can look at the documents of like the UN and some universities that game theoried this kind of thing, and that
Yep.
by the third year, the third year of lockdowns and a pandemic situation, the people get so fed up and so over it that they start to fight back.
Yep.
And here we are, year 3, right around the corner.
Coming up.
And suddenly,
You think people are still gonna be... Yeah.
the narrative is changing to what we've been saying all along.
Weird. So strange.
Huh.
Are you tired of being right yet? You tired of being right?
No. I'm tired of not being recognized for being right.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? At the end of the day, listen, we can only tell people about Jesus. We can't.
It's
save
true.
Him, so
you can lead a horse to walk.
Only
You
Jesus
can
can
lead
do
a
that.
horse to water, but you can't make him get baptized.
Yeah, amen. I like that. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like, listen,
I feel you, Roman.
even when the normies,
I'm tired of it too.
Yeah, I mean, even when the normies are figuring it out, the jig's up. When they're on CNN actually admitting what the actual statistics are and kind of deflating and walking away from all this bullcrap, the jig's up. You know what I mean?
When okay,
depressing.
Here is just a tasty piece of liberal logic. This is just
Ooh.
This is liberal logic filet mignon. Okay.
Ooh, give me some.
California fired their health workers, right? The ones that wouldn't get vaccinated.
Well, clearly, because they didn't get the job.
Now they're hurting, right? Yeah, they're hurting. So what do they?
You're saying that there'd be a ramification for firing perfectly healthy people that refuse to get a experimental drug in their body
in the midst of a pandemic. Yeah, that might be a bad move.
Possibly.
So turns out it was a bad move. They're hurting. They're severely understaffed. And so what do? Well, what they do is they tell the workers that are left who are sick with COVID that they need to come to they can come back to work if they only have a few symptoms.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, that can't be right because COVID's the most deadly thing ever known to man. How dare they let people that have COVID,
especially if you're working at a hospital or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most deadly disease of all time that needs 4 comorbidities and
3 boosters
instead of from it.
Yeah.
It's too deadly.
But if you only have a few symptoms, then it's okay. I mean, it's just a highly transmissible respiratory virus. So.
Oh, like the flu?
Yeah, like the flu. Night, Roman.
Wait, so... But I'm not scared of the flu, but I'm scared of COVID-19 because the media told me to be.
Yeah, but now they're telling you that if you don't worry if your healthcare provider is sick, if they only have a few symptoms, you'll be fine.
Oh.
You'll be fine.
Well, that's not what they've been saying for the last 3 years.
No, you're not hearing me. See, this is like the Quran, okay? Okay. What I say now abrogates what came before. Okay? So
are you taking shots at Muslims? You
Yeah,
Islamophobic.
gosh.
Phobic.
Man,
You taking shots?
that was shots
Come on,
fired.
man.
That was shots fired.
Listen, the
Yeah.
prophet was just having sex with 8-year-old girls.
No,
That's
no, no,
normal,
no, no,
right?
no, 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 no. He just married a 9-year-old
Oh.
girl. He didn't have sex with her until she was 13.
Oh, is that like when he dressed up as a woman and went into a cave and got the inspiration for the Quran from Satan? I mean, sorry, an angel? Was that before or after that?
I think after.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just checking. I just wanted to make sure. Listen, because I mean, USA Today is making it normal to have sex with kids. I don't want to disgrace the prophet. What's their name? What's the
Muhammad?
prophet? What's the Muhammad?
Muhammad. Yes.
Oh yeah, the guy that is probably burnt. Well, the guy that's burning in hell as we speak right now. Gotcha. Jesus Christ reigns over everything. Yeah, keep going. Sorry about that.
Anyway, yeah, well, that was definitely shots fired. So yeah, what we're saying now about COVID abrogates everything that came before. So don't worry about that. Don't worry what we were saying 2 years ago or even a week ago. It's only important what we say now. All right? Because I am science. All right?
Got it. You know what the funniest thing to me is? I don't know if you've noticed this liberal logic either when it comes to Rona. The lines wrapped around buildings for people to go walk in to see if they're sick or not.
Yeah.
But people can't go vote in person.
No.
And that's racist if you ask somebody to have a voter ID, but
a passport, a vaccine passport, no problem.
Logic. It's so the story never ends. The story never ends. It just doesn't get like. There's a point. I hate to steal from Doug Wilson, but like Doug Wilson always says, like there's always a point where you think it can't get more stupid, and then it just keeps going. It just gets dumber.
Yes.
It just gets dumber and dumber.
Just
dumber.
when I thought you couldn't get any stupider, you go and do something like this, and totally redeem yourself.
I know. It's funny. But the funny thing is this. In your normal life, Matt, how often do you talk about COVID-19 with your wife?
Lately, a lot.
Well, yeah, because you got a little bit situation.
But normal days, never. Unless it's a... Like... Unless we're going somewhere and we have to consider, like, is where we're going to be stupid?
But that's not even that bad in Florida. That's not even like that in Florida anymore,
Well,
man. Other than Disney.
So we went to Disney Springs to just have a nice day after church, and eat some Blaze pizza and have fun with the girls and see the Christmas tree lights. And we walk into Blaze Pizza, and they're like, you can't order if you don't have a mask. And they're like, do you have masks that we can put on? If they had masks, I would put on the mask. No, you have to go to guest services for that. I'm like, not doing that. Bye. And we just left. It's like, you can't even, you're going to force me to wear a mask. You can't even provide one? No. This is freaking Florida.
Coming to the state of Florida.
Get with the program.
Yeah. And this is only happening in Disney, by the way, because Disney is still operated and controlled by Californians.
Yes. Who, by the way, are moving their headquarters right here to Central Florida.
To Florida. I saw that. It's like, gee, we can't make money in California. Better move to Florida, but don't bring your stupid politics with you.
Don't worry.
Bring them.
They will. They're going to get here, and and some of them are going to be like, wow, nobody's wearing masks. This is freaking fantastic. But there's going to be plenty of them are going to be like horrified. Nobody's wearing masks. I can't believe it. Don't they care?
But hey, listen, we'll have to indoctrinate them because, the beautiful thing is, listen, I've seen so many quote unquote, I say air quote Christians go to California, for example, and magically start not being Christians because they never were in the first place. But I've seen it happen, and I've seen people come to Florida and then magically they get really conservative really fast because they're like, yeah, I kind of like this freedom thing. Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
go. Let's
You don't know
make
what
America
you
great again.
got till it's gone.
Let's go. You come to Florida and you're like, hey, let's make America great again.
And the reverse,
I mean?
you don't know what you
Let's,
got till it's gone. The reverse is true. You don't know what you are missing until you have it.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, here's what's crazy. Just we said a couple weeks ago, watch for the pivot, and the pivot's already starting, which is funny. Like the next day, the pivot happened. Watch the Democrats pivot from their position because they have no principles and they will switch over. But then again, Republicans don't have principles either. You got to watch out for the people like the Ted Cruz's of the world that are going to say one thing and do another thing. I'm still watching out for DeSantis. I believe in Daddy DeSantis, but the other thing is too is it's a lot easier to be strong conservative when you're in Florida and everybody's going to back you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? What happens when you get that big federal power and you're in front of the entire country? Are you going to bend to the will of New York and California? Are you? Are you going to bend to the DC BS? It's too soon to be said. You know what I mean? So I pray that DC doesn't affect the next conservative person that's going to be running for the presidency. You know what I mean? So we'll see how
I'm
it
interested
goes.
to see
And,
what the Libertarian
yeah,
Party does in the future.
they're not going to do anything, Matt. They're not going to do anything. They won't. You know why? They're libertarians. Libertarians don't move because it's all about freedom, self responsibility, and they're not going to move. They're not going to do anything about it, man. They won't. I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Okay, I love you. I appreciate you.
Anyway, I'm interested to see what the Libertarian Party is going to do, because there's this Mises caucus inside the Libertarian Party that seems to be cleaning things up and getting people riled up for actual liberty and for actual movement. And so I'm interested to see where that goes. And to your point, it may go nowhere. It may go nowhere, but it's actually kind of exciting. It's kind of interesting. They might actually go somewhere. So,
listen, I am perfectly behind libertarians coming in and dominating. I'm okay with that, man. I'm about that life. I am about that life. Okay, because listen, you can't put the strong one in a box. The funniest part about last week, what did I say his name again? Sorry, Dusty. Was when Dusty tried to categorize me politically, and he's like, he's some kind of like, and he struggled, and I'm like, good. I hope you struggle. I hope you struggle. You don't get to put me in a box, but no, I mean, I secretly root for libertarians. I want them to win. You know what I mean? I do. You play it out. It's Mad Max, but we need some pulling towards the Mad Max right now. We need a little bit of that. You know what I mean? I think that would help out tremendously. I think that public and private need a little bit of separation right now. You know what I mean? I'm about that life, but we'll see how it goes. But what I would say is this to the point of the show. Yeah, it's the same old show. It's the same old story. But here's the thing: be principled. Don't be like our boy Ted Cruz. Okay, you're not going to see us turncoat on our decisions because our decisions are made up of principles. Now they're going to.
Here's the interesting thing.
For sure.
Here's the interesting thing. There's an article today where it's talking about him in a congressional hearing, asking some woman from the FBI about the FBI's involvement in January 6th.
Sure.
Like grilling her, and she refuses. She says she can't answer, and it's like, pick a side, bro.
But it was a terrorist attack, man. Well, he's saving face. This is very political because Texas is still the Democrats are trying their hardest to flip Texas. They really want to flip. It ain't gonna happen because Hispanics don't like Democrats either. Spoiler, they don't. Hey, we live in Florida.
The Mexicans flooding the border may want free stuff, but they ain't down with the T's and the L's and the G's and the B's.
No. They're quite conservative in their moral principles and standing. It's like, kind of interesting, you know. You probably want to check out your demographics that you're letting flood in. But you know, are you saying they're not for the alphabet?
No, they're
Is that what
not.
you're trying to say?
And that seems to be the
They're not for
big
the they them?
thing right now. So I don't think they're gonna be they're gonna have many votes for the D's.
No. No, they ain't down for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, just straight up, like I think that I got to final thought this, so I'm gonna final thought it. I'm gonna put it there. So I really appreciate the genesis of this show from where we started to where we are now. Okay, because like here's the thing, like. And even before that, like I'll give you an example, and he doesn't listen to the show, so I'm going to say it. But one of my good friends who is, we have always been at political odds, always. Now we're always good friends, and we bust each other's balls, and it's hilarious. Okay, you know, it's fun. I enjoy it because that's what mature people do on opposite ends of the aisles. It's become so polarizing. And listen, any Democrat that wants to come to the show that's, you know, got a decent following, blah, 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 we're just not going to let rando crazy dim on this show because guess what? Whoop-de-doo, Basil. You know what I mean? But we're okay with Democrats coming on the show. I like debating issues. I like disagreeing. I disagree with Matt on things all the time. Okay? I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're wrong.
There's a lot of things we disagree on, which is fine. Huh? And listen, Matt, it's okay for you to be wrong. Yeah. I'm okay with that, just like you're okay with it. You know what I mean?
It is okay that you're wrong. Yeah.
Now,
I love you anyway.
But like, we were at odds when I was a Democrat, right? I was a hardcore Democrat back in the day. Now, what's funny is my principles and my standards really haven't changed. But over time, magically, I'm voting for a bunch of Republicans all of a sudden. Because for a long time, I was voting for just Democrats. I voted for Obama twice. Okay? And we were at political odds, me and my boy. Trump shows up, and we're at political odds again. So my boy went from hardcore Bush globalists to more globalists to Biden, right? And what's funny is, I think over time, the truth comes out. Truth always comes out. And I'm disagreeing with people on one point. And I hear a lot of Democrats saying, well, the Democrat Party left me. They're going so far left and blah, 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 blah. And we imagine that things are shifting. And that's not what they're doing. They're actually cycling in the opposite direction. Because at the end of the day, Democrats back in the Gore day, would they approve of same-sex marriage? The answer is no. Obama came out and said he was against same-sex marriage.
His first term.
Hillary Clinton used to be legal, rare for when it came to abortion. Remember that? Remember those days? Remember when good old Bill Clinton, now keep in mind, I'll give Newt Gingrich all the credit for this because he didn't have a majority. And, you know, he had the sex controversy with, I did not have sexual relations. So, of course, he was kind of, you know, whatever. He's still a globalist, but Bill Clinton was big into personal responsibility. And he was the one that signed the bill, the Three Strikes bill, that incarcerated a lot of people who did, you know, whatever. There's still principles to that idea. I think law and order is a good thing, 100%. I think that if you keep messing up over and over and over again from a legal standpoint, you're going to put my family at risk. I don't want to walk the same streets as Joe Blow, idiot. Okay? I don't. I have a lot of sympathy for people that are in prison. God knows, I had an uncle that was in prison for 25 years. I know what that's like. I don't physically know about being in there, but I understand being a family member on the other side of that, especially when the guy didn't do what it was said. I get it. Justice system sucks. We've seen it fail over and over and over and over and over again in many different ways. We've seen it do the right thing in many different ways. But the principle never changed. We are for law and order, okay? If you really boil it down, I was never for abortion. I just wasn't super against it. And thank God that the Holy Spirit changed my mind in that sense, where I am abhorrently against it 1010%. What's stupid about the debate now is, which is hilarious from these so-called holier than thou Christians, are, well, listen, there's a difference between, you got to be an abolitionist when it comes to abortion, and you can't incrementally step it. That's not how politics works. You have to slow step people into the right direction. That's how the civil rights happen. It eventually
Oh, that's
happens.
how everything that we're dealing with now came to be. It feels like
100%.
it's been
It
an
was a slow
avalanche
drip.
overnight, but they've slowly, methodically set the foundation for that avalanche.
Yep, 100%. But it can go the opposite
Yes, it
direction
can.
too, right? Absolutely. Because we're at the point where abortion is it's really being threatened in the United States of America. South Dakota just banned abortions from, I think, 6 weeks on. Can't do it. You know what I mean? Now, for anybody that thinks that that's a horrible bill, think that through. What would be the only reason that these Democrats keep telling us you have to keep abortions going, right? Why do the Dems keep telling us you got to keep abortion because of rape and incest? Well, if you're raped or you have an incestual situation, which is still rape, you would know within 6 weeks whether you need to figure out what's going on with that. Now, I would argue against that. You know why? Because I'm the product of a rape. There are people that are product of incest situations because it's evil to kill a baby, period.
For something that their parents
But
did.
let's think this. Yeah, 100%. But let's think this through. The heartbeat bill that's in place in Texas has reduced abortions by 50%.
That's a lot of saved children.
Well, that's not good enough. That's a lot of saved kids, to your point, Mr.
Yep.
Matt. And guess what? That was the Democratic Party stance before. Okay? Before, remember when the Democrats were against big corporations, big bloated corporations? You remember those days, man? Remember that? Weird. But funny how that changed real fast, right? They were for the little guy in the working class. You remember those days?
This hypocrisy brought to you by Pfizer.
By Pfizer. It didn't switch. It didn't shift. It flipped. You got literally, they got me, a middle class Ohio kid from factory worker dad, government employee mom, to vote red. Think about that. They flipped it so much that I'm voting red because now those stiff, snooty, holier than thou, country club, waspy, old white guy Republicans sound a heck of a lot more sensible now than the old white guy country club Democrats that are going on right now.
Yeah.
They've just flipped, guys. And what's funny about the story is my friend has always been on the opposite end of me. When it flipped, guess what? I started voting for Trump, and this guy wanted Biden bad. Wanted that Hillary Clinton. Even though 4 years ago he would have told you that Hillary was the spawn of Satan because he voted for Bush. Does that make sense?
Wow.
The thing is, this is at least you're. Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy. And then what's funny is he lived in Chicago, and he's like, I had to move from Chicago. It just got so bad. I wonder why. You wonder why?
It's like,
and listen, I love my brother.
What did he vote for Bush for?
But here's
like, I voted for Bush.
I mean, the war machine's got to go, so that's why people voted for Bush, right?
That's not why I voted for Bush.
No, I think Bush was a repudiation of Bill Clinton. You know what I mean? There's always a backlash, and I think.
But Biden is Bill Clinton.
Really,
there's not much of a difference
100%.
between Biden and Bill Clinton.
Nope. Not really. Well, he just running the country into the ground faster and with a worse
Yeah.
economy. You know, that's the only difference.
So like,
But and instead of on a Coincy, it's little kids. But I mean, we I
I
digress.
admit I was duped by Bush, but I voted for Bush because of my principles, because he wasn't because Gore wasn't against my principles. I've seen
But
deeper.
think about your principles
What's that?
now. But your principles haven't really changed.
Yeah,
Think about
they've
it.
just expanded.
My principles have, yeah, to the point where you're like talking libertarian and anarchy,
Yeah,
brother.
exactly,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Straight up. So, my point is for the final thought is stand by your principles, man. Because these jackholes are going to switch around. They're going to switch around over and over and over again. There might be a point where like, what happened to the Republican Party? Because if these jackholes start, pushing hard for abortion and so on and so forth, I'm going to jump ship too, because that's one of the primary deals. And I know, Big Eva out there. You shouldn't be a one issue voter. That issue's pretty darn big.
Also, the
Sorry.
Bible admonishes us to be obedient slaves to the government. So
True. That's what Big Eva thinks. But guess what? That's actually not what the Bible says. But
yeah,
right? I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, what I'm getting at is this: stick to your principles. And if you find that your principles are on the wrong side of truth, it might not be a principle, it might just be a preference. And your preference, feelings aren't facts. And I would encourage people like, hey, listen, are you for more government control? After the last 2 years, you really want more
no,
government control?
um,
Did government solve COVID-19 or the
not at
flu?
all.
Did it?
Biden
Not
ran
one
on
bit.
Trump not having a plan, but they've got a plan. And to
And they have
today,
more.
there's no federal solution for COVID.
Nope. And he finally abandoned that, right? Remember, he was like, "There's no federal plan for COVID; it's a state issue." Like Trump said from the beginning. Weird, strange. But think this through, guys. Like, do you want some DC person to dictate your
Not
world?
at all.
What what principles do you have that match New Yorkers and Californians?
None at all.
Do you share those things? I mean, do you really think racism is the number one issue in your life every single day?
I've never thought that. Now that might be just
I
my
mean,
white privilege.
but think this through. Are you really mad at hillbilly Jack in the middle of Appalachia that doesn't like black people, or are you pissed that you're paying $3.19 for gas when a year ago you were paying $1.60, $1.70? What impacts you
Mm.
more? What impacts you more when you are literally your grocery bill has just jumped up and you're getting a third less of the bang for your buck for your dollar?
That's what pisses me off.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, cool. You can really be worried about the trannies, all 0.04% of them. You can really be worried about supposed racism because, again, there's so much racism going on. There's so much injustice, but magically, St. Floyd's cop got arrested, and the person that shot Ahmaud Arbery, all three of them are in jail for life now. So magically the justice somehow came back to America all of a sudden, and we're not talking about that all of a sudden because again it's not an election, but in 2 years we'll see Black Lives
Yep.
Matter again. And you'll be duped into that, but you'll forget the fact that you're spending way more
Oh, we
money on
might see
gas
it
than
this
you are
year.
right now.
This
You
year
have
is an
less.
election year.
Yeah.
So it's a midterm, but
And here's the thing that's and here's the other thing that sucks. Your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. You actually lost money. You're poorer now. Your boy Biden was talking about that with car prices. Like, well, hey, look at it this way. If car prices go up, there's only two ways to fix it. Either make more cars or make Americans poorer so they don't have to worry about cars. Great solution, Biden. That was smart. He literally said that today. But
Genius.
He's okay with making you poor.
Oh yeah.
If that's what you're about, I mean, listen, if you're about sending most of your money to other countries that hate you, because what they've just sent $30 billion to the Taliban to control Afghanistan.
That's what? How swell.
So they let the Taliban kill 13 of our guys, take over our military.
There's still
jeopardize our allies.
Newsflash for you.
$billion.
Here's an update. There's still Americans trapped in Afghanistan. Still
Americans in Afghanistan trapped. No vigil for them, though.
No.
But you got to think about this. Like, rationally, is COVID-19 really the most important thing in your life that the government said they would fix? No, it's not. Really think about it. It's not. That's what I'm getting at is really evaluate what your principles are. Are they matched with truth? Do they comport with reality? If they don't, it may be feelings and not reality. Sorry, that was the longest final thought of all time, man. Sorry.
No, I mean, I think that's it.
My bad, bro.
I think you said it all. And on that note, you've been watching Plausible Foolishness, the home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, Rumble, anywhere you can get a podcast, Instagram, and minds.com. Peace out, and God bless.
Get better, Dusty!
Say, look, hey, free Masana for your honor. Left on box and them chains. What was my dog, man? Why that bullet had got lodged in his brain? My mind is insane. A memory card is locked in the game. These optical frames spot ops and leave a block full of pain. Did the impossible, cross the tightrope while dodging the rain. I put extensions in my Glock, no, I am not finna aim. Swear I got robbed and joined the army, so my spot could remain. One lost his life in North Carolina, hope he not as I sang. Drinking sorrow away on my alky still for the soldiers we lost on the battlefield. Why am I hurting myself as I bury on belching out death when I'd rather heal? And most of these rappers ain't that for real. They mentioning that shit, they got for me. Talking fly when we push that in vacuum seal. Some of my homies not pushing up that to deal. Now Ninja putting music to dream hours. We been up grinding up teen hours. They ain't believing that team power, then we had to run up 14,000. I thank you all for supporting us. This right here for the voice of the warrior. Victory is a beautiful woman. We went through the rain while in love with Victoria.
Whether thick or the finer things, whether wood in a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain. Whether thick or the finer things, whether wood in a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain.
Hard to hop off of the plane, just to get back in the trenches. My sister, my brother was slain, and I haven't seen any mentions. For social media and networks, so irritated that my head hurts. And when I do, it's only excerpts, small commentary from the experts. No appreciation for the lives lost. I posted up with the iron cross when the smoke clears from fine off. All I think about is my fault, man. Should've been there to protect you. The bullets that came and they wrecked you. Now it's my duty to go and collect you. Wrapping the casket, sending you home. Not full of madness, knowing you gone. How could this happen? Tell me I'm wrong. Dip in the sadness, leave me alone. Doctor got me medicated, wanna get me regulated. Helping me recover with the pain. Even though we celebrated everything you dedicated, now I gotta make it through the rain.
Whether thick or the finer things, whether wood in a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain. Whether thick or the finer things, whether wood in a golden frame, I still love, I still love, I still love through the rain.
Army specialist Aaron David Robinson is accused of killing Guillen, and his girlfriend Cicely Aguilar is accused of helping him get rid of the body. And tonight, we have Aguilar's confession about exactly what happened the night Guillen disappeared.
Well, today marks 2 years since an Air Force veteran was shot and killed by a DeKalb County police officer. 27-year-old Anthony Hill, whose family says he suffered from PTSD, was naked and unarmed when he was shot by Officer Robert Olson during an encounter.
Olson was indicted by a grand jury and faces felony murder along with other charges. And now we've learned the DA has appointed a new prosecution team in that case.
Wow. Space Force, wow.
Space Force through your tape. We fast forward, we came through that time warp. Your foreheads look like warp. Everybody look confused, huh? How do we make these moves, huh? How do we always improve, huh? No, we ain't nothing like you. We on top cause we don't stop and all we do is gradual. Everyone's so grouchy cause they puppets and we animals. We don't whine, we just break bread with the team, holy mackerel. Know us, then we reign and better grab a boat. Whoa.
We a different breed, talking alien. Survivor of the fittest, and we